The Revolutionary War Timeline. George Washington as Commander-in-Chief, 1775. Why was George Washington chosen? George Washington was chosen as Commander-in-Chief based on his previous military experience and the hope that a leader from Virginia could help unite the colonies. Did George Washington receive pay for his position? George Washington did not receive a salary for his commission as Commander-in-Chief because he only wanted his expenses and debts to be paid at the conclusion of the war. The Articles of Confederation, 1776. The Articles of Confederation were planned in June 1775 and were presented on July 12, 1776, and they started getting redirected in December 1777. The Articles of Confederation were originally written to establish the functions of the national government of the United States after it declared independence from Great Britain. But the realistic outcome of the Articles was that it established a weak central government that mostly, but not entirely, prevented the individual states from conducting their own foreign diplomacy. The Declaration of Independence, 1776. What was the goal and purpose of the Declaration? The goal and purpose of the Declaration of Independence was to sever the colonies' ties with Great Britain. Who was asked to help draft the Declaration of Independence? Thomas Jefferson was the one who was asked to help draft this Declaration of Independence, and he was very proud of this role. How did the Declaration of Independence help other countries? The Declaration of Independence allowed recognition of the United States to friendly foreign governments, and it also allowed new foreign trade with these new governments and countries. The Treaty of Alliance with France, 1778. Why did the French form an alliance with the Americans? France formed an alliance with the Americans so that they could promote trade and commercial ties between the two countries. Who does Congress send to France and why? Congress sent Benjamin Franklin, Silas Deane, and Arthur Lee to France, but the most popular amongst the French was Benjamin Franklin. The reason for his popularity was because of his humble style of clothing and his amazing intellect, but he was mainly embraced by the aristocracy, which was the richer people in France. When was the Treaty of Alliance with France signed? The treaty was signed on February 6, 1778. The Treaty of Paris, 1783. When and where was this treaty signed? The Treaty of Paris was signed on September 3, 1783, in Paris, France, hence the name, Treaty of Paris. Who were the three Americans that were involved with the signing of the treaty? The Americans that were involved with the signing were Benjamin Franklin, John Jay, and John Adams. Which article of the treaty was most important to the Americans? The articles that were most important to the Americans were the preliminary articles of peace. This is because they are the peace agreements that is stopping the Revolutionary War. What was the primary goal of the treaty? The primary goal of the treaty was to create peace between the United States/colonies and Britain, and to end the Revolutionary War. Who represented the British at the signing? Richard Oswald was the representative for the British at the Treaty of Paris. The Federalist Papers, 1787. Who were the writers of the papers? The Federalist Papers were written by Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay. How many were written, and did the Americans really know the true authors? The papers were a series of 85 essays that were kept anonymously under the name Publius. What does the given name Publius mean, and where did it come from? The name Publius meant Publius Valerius Publico, who was a leading politician of the ancient Roman Republic, and that was found at legaldictionary.com. Explain the importance of Federalist Paper number 84. The importance of Federalist Paper number 84 is that Hamilton answers the questions about that there is no Bill of Rights. So Hamilton states that due to the Ninth Amendment, any right not explained in the Constitution is still a right of the people. And define a Federalist. A Federalist was originally those forces in favor of the ratification of the Constitution, and that was found at ushistory.com. The Constitution of the United States, 1787. When was the Constitution ratified? The Constitution was ratified by the last state, Rhode Island, on May 29, 1790. Define ratify. To ratify means to formally approve of something. Who had more power and why? The state governments had most of the power due to the Articles of Confederation, and the people had less power. What was the problem with who had more power? The problem with giving more power to the state government was that the people had less say in things, so rebellions broke loose.